Okay, can we see anything this time? Hmm. Now, guys, I'm watching the chat, seeing if there's any feedback on whether this shit's working or not. Oh, thank fucking God. Alright, so as you can tell, I'm not too goddamn good at this computer shit. So, yeah, it takes me a little while these days to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. Back when it was like the Tandy 1000X computer, I knew exactly how to do fucking everything. These days, I'm really lucky I know how to turn the fucking thing on. Eggman! Yes, raccoon badger thing. I appreciate that. Oh, it's nice to see that only like 8 of you stuck the fuck around. But, you know, it was either the raccoon badger thing or absolutely fucking nothing. So, um, yeah, I probably should tweet about it, shouldn't I? Oh, shit. That requires finding, like, the stream link and all that shit, doesn't it? You're making it hard on me, man. Uh, no. Public. Advanced. I'm not even sure what the fucking string link is. Is it over here? Yeah, I can tell everybody I'm over on fucking Twitch or something. Let them freak the fuck out for a few minutes, right? Guys, I have absolutely no format for this tonight. It's really more about me fucking around and trying to figure this out than anything. Oh, shit. Holy shit. Eggman, you mean that an app that let people show up on someone else's computer as a giant fucking talking animal made a bunch of furries happy? You know, if you hadn't told me, I never would have guessed. So what's everybody drinking tonight? Or am I the only one drinking? Like I was telling Dante earlier, I had no fucking clue what I was going to do. So it's really just kind of a test run. I mean, I'm watching the chat room. If you got anything you want to say, I'll respond. But mainly, I'm seeing how this shit works out. Otherwise, what this is going to be is a lot of me fucking rambling while sipping this weak ass drink I have and smoking cigarettes in my den. Grayson, if I remember correctly, you're underage, so you shouldn't be debating drinking anything. That's your free legal advice for the evening. It's accidentally my ass, Dante. So, good news from the site today. A couple months back, I wrote about a guy down in Georgia who called himself the Unexpected Lawyer. And his advertising was just fucking hilarious. It's like this guy praying and another picture in the back of him holding a baseball or a football. And it just says, The Unexpected Lawyers. So I write about it, and I'm talking about how the guy's ads could actually be, in like a worst case scenario, an ethics violation. Well, today I find out that at the beginning of May, apparently this guy had an ethics investigation opened against him, and he's now had his license suspended for failure to respond to it. So that's my laugh for the day, because when I wrote that blog post, a couple of attorneys were telling me that, maybe I'd gone too far. There was nothing blatantly unethical about the guy was doing. And so today, to be able to send them that link to his disciplinary decision was kind of like the best fuck you ever to some of these guys. And of course now they're all talking about how bad the ads were, like I did months ago. But that's kind of the benefit of being anonymous or semi-anonymous, is I feel free to write about some of that shit. If I was writing under the name that's on my law license, I wouldn't say 3/4 of the shit I say. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Well, let's see. So somebody give me a topic. Somebody say something that's going on in their life or something like that. Because I'm just going to ramble, guys. I'm not going to be sitting here really with any script or any plan for the night. Like I say, this is more about kind of a proof of concept thing for the, really for you guys. Eventually I'll figure out this face rig shit, considering I paid like $16 for it. And if I monetize it at all, I'll probably end up buying that $65 version of it. But before I do anything like that, I kind of want to check the proof of concept for it. Jesse wants to talk about the Comey hearings. Oh shit, we had to go there, didn't we? I think it's going to be interesting. This could really be kind of the Watergate moment for the Trump presidency, or it could be nothing at all. Comey is someone that I actually have a lot of respect for. I liked Comey a lot. Little known fact, when Bush II was in office, his White House was trying to get the Attorney General to sign off on an order for essentially illegal wiretapping. And Comey, who at that point was Deputy Attorney General, rushed to the hospital and confronted the Bush White House representatives and yelled them down because there they were trying to force the Attorney General to sign something while he was obviously ill and unable to protest. So I was actually really happy when Comey got appointed to be the director of the FBI. I always thought he was a fair person. During the election, a lot of people got pissed at him. I was too, to an extent. But he was one of the few actors in Washington where I genuinely believed they did not have some ulterior motive or political alternative. Right or wrong, you could always count on him to do what he thought was the legally correct thing. So I'm excited to hear what Comey has to say during his testimony tomorrow. Tell you a bit about Captain's eyebrows, or his eyebrows epic. Let me tell you about Captain Eyebrows. The first time Captain Eyebrows posted a picture of himself in the Lawyer Slack channel, we all looked at it, and gay, straight, bi, whatever, a room full of attorneys immediately said, you know, we'd fuck him. So the captain is, his eyebrows are magnificent. They are the single best thing I've ever seen. I imagine he wakes up at like 2 in the morning to stand in front of the mirror and tweeds them. Enterprise has tweeted the link to this at me. So rather than touch the computer and risk pissing off the tiny man who lives inside of it, I'm going to see if I can find that on my phone and retweet it out. Oh, hey, Dante did it too. I'll go with Dante's. He was first. Jesse, I do not have a specialty. Actually, no lawyer has a specialty. We're actually forbidden from saying we're specialists. There are some exceptions. Some state bars do allow you to be certified in certain areas, and you can say that you specialize. Patent law, obviously, because it has a separate bar exam, you can say that you're a patent lawyer. But really what you have are attorneys that are able to practice in just about any area of law, but they focus on 1, 2, maybe 3 areas. As for me, I'm a civil litigator. Now, the way I explain that to people is I say I'm a civil trial attorney, which is everything but criminal. But I don't do personal injury. I don't do family law. And the truth of the matter is very little in the way of civil cases that actually go to trial. So I say I'm a civil trial lawyer because it's the easiest way to explain it, but I'm actually a civil litigator. Dante, yeah, troll the fuck out of Captain Eyebrows. Make his life a fucking misery, man. Oh, it's okay, Jesse. A lot of people think like that. Elder law is actually really interesting. It's not just wills and estates like you see on Better Call Saul. It's also Medicaid planning trusts, Social Security matters, things like that. It's actually pretty fucking complex. Recently, I spent the better part of a day reading up on Medicaid income and resource guidelines just because I'd never had the chance to do it before. So, and I hope that answers your question a little bit. Emmanuel wants to know what type of media I'm enjoying outside of circles. Right now, my book is the Orson Scott Card. No, not Orson Scott Card. George R.R. Martin series, the Wild Card series. They're kind of science fiction books. It's a virus was released over New York City in the 1940s, 1950s, and it causes all these mutations. Some of them physical deformities, some of them almost superpowers. And there's this whole series of books set in this universe, and they're all kind of short stories written by a bunch of different authors and edited by George R. R. Martin, who wrote the Game of Thrones series, A Song of Fire and Ice. And I've been reading those about 3-4 years now. I think I've read everything in the series once or twice. Right now I'm reading Fort Freak, which I think is the last one or the most recent one. And that's all about like a police investigation with a bunch of little stories in between. I really like that type of weird shit. Non-fiction wise, I'm rereading When They Come For Us Will Already Be Gone. It's about the oppression of the Jewish faith in communist Russia and the diaspora to Israel. Movie-wise, I recently watched Furry, that Brad Pitt movie where he's a tanker, and I liked that one. TV show-wise, my tastes are kind of varied. I'm waiting for the new season of Game of Thrones to start. Alejandro wants to know how common it is for lawyers to have a drink together. Very common. I was asked this at Furthermore, and that one's already on the web, so I don't think I'm taking anything away from anything I'll do in the future by saying it's a small bar most places. Unless you're in a really big city, most lawyers know each other or we know of each other. So you can't really be unfriendly. We're at some point all going to have to deal with each other again. So we have drinks together. We'll play golf together. Go fishing together. I get invited hunting every year, but I refuse to do it because I don't trust other lawyers with guns around me. I figure, they have a gun, we're out in the woods, there's no one around for miles. That's the perfect time to take my ass out. But yeah, we're friendly. I have not seen Denial. I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet, though. Excuse me. Well, that's just fucking hilarious. Beckwar, the Beckwar on Twitter has just posted a screenshot of this that is frightening as hell. That says something about the Boozy Bear. Let's see, in which Boozy Badger spills his guts and stares into your fucking soul. I hope tonight when you go to bed, each and every one of you close your eyes and see the freakish, fat-faced raccoon, badger, panda thing with the cigarette in your mind's eye, standing over your bed, watching you sleep. Ned Wilkinson, hello! What judge is ruling with your favorite smile-inducing, well-worded beatdown of an idiot? You know what? I can answer that one really fucking easily, Eggman. My favorite judicial beatdown of an idiot was not a beatdown of one idiot. It was a beatdown of a very large number of idiots. And if you haven't read it, you really, really should. It's a United States Supreme Court decision. Excuse me. It's a United States Supreme Court decision. The opinion was authored by Justice Kennedy. It's from... Excuse me. It's from 2015. I'm pretty sure everybody here has had it or heard it. And it's Oberfeld v. Hodges, because that beat down a lot of fucking idiots, didn't it? It's wonderful because every U.S. Supreme Court decision ends with "it is so ordered." So it's not special to see that. But in the last paragraph that Justice Kennedy wrote, he talks about the importance of love and the relationship two people have and how it's not confined to just the traditional heterosexual marriage. And reading that paragraph and then those last words, "it is so ordered," it almost brings a tear to your eye. And it pissed off a lot of people. And I really like that. No change happens without people getting pissed off. It was a very narrow decision, though. But it was, and is right now, probably my favorite Supreme Court decision and my favorite judicial beatdown of idiots. Carnos, I assume that you are talking to the gun lobbyist from Thanks for Smoking. Because I certainly don't sound like the main character. Grandiose Toad. It is so ordered. You understand how much trouble I'm gonna have not using that in the office tomorrow now. Speaking of the office, this morning I'm walking in. I have a client consult that morning. And my phone rings. It's my boss, the managing partner. And our paralegal comes in and says, "I'm not going to tell you what's going on with him. I'm going to let him tell you." So I pick up the phone, and my boss is on the other line. I say, "What's going on?" He goes, no pause, no warning, no lead in, just, "I fell through my deck." He had gone outside, and he's not a small man. He had gone outside and stepped on, I guess, a rotten plank and fell entirely through his deck and was calling on his way to the doctor to get checked out. But of course, there's some things that you don't expect to hear at like 9:30 in the morning, and your boss saying, without any preamble, "I fell through my deck" is one of them. So of course I react like any caring associate who cares about his job and his eventual advancement through the firm would, and I broke down laughing like a fucking lunatic. He didn't seem to hold it against me, but yeah, like I said, oh shit. Jesse, decriminalization simply means that you will no longer be prosecuting people for possessing small amounts of the drug for personal use. Legalization means that it is no longer criminal at all. The main difference is the effect at the end of it. Under decriminalization, if the police find you with like 2 joints, they're not going to arrest you. They could, but they're not going to. If they find you with 50 joints, they're going to say that you are intending to sell, and they will arrest you. Legalization would technically make it legal to sell, as long as you have the appropriate licenses. So that's the difference. It's kind of the difference between not criminalizing or not arresting people for drinking alcohol during Prohibition, and how we have it now, where if you're making booze without the appropriate stamps and such, you're creating a criminal act, but as long as you're performing within the licenses, it's perfectly legal. And actually, as soon as I arranged for Dick Warlord and I to link up, he is a weed lawyer out in Colorado, and that's actually one of the questions that I'll be asking him for the Lawyers and Liquor podcast that I'm putting together. Face rig needs to render the bourbon glass. I'm not drinking bourbon tonight, actually. I'm drinking Midori. It's about half a tumbler of Midori, pineapple juice, and a splash of lemonade. Chili, don't fucking go to law school. That's the extent of my advice for people who want to go to law school. Don't fucking do it. There's nothing good that comes out of going to law school. Today, actually, they released some median income summaries for lawyers, and there's two mountains, is what we say. At one end of the scale, it's about $55,000 a year. Then the pay is flat all the way to the other end of the scale, where it goes up to like $165,000, $170,000 a year. Now, the 55 is where most people who get out of law school are going to be, if not a little less. The 170 are the big boys who come out of Ivy League law schools and go to what we call white shoe firms in New York, and the rest of us are somewhere in between those two marks. So you're not going to get rich going to law school, man. It's just not going to happen. Now, if you get a full ride scholarship, go ahead and go if you really want to be a lawyer. But, you really got to want to be a lawyer. It's not a 9-to-5 job. Gruck X, do I have any advice for an incoming law student about how to keep a good work-life balance? You're not going to. You certainly can, but you're probably not going to. Law school, you need to treat it like a job. And your job doesn't start when you go into class. Your job starts when you're done with class. While you're at the school, that is the easiest part of going to law school. Sitting in lecture, watching other people struggle through the Socratic method, praying you don't get cold called, things like that. Those are the easy parts. The hard parts, the parts you really have to treat like a job, are the ones outside of the classroom, and that's the effort to go home every night, to read cases, to brief the cases, to read the same cases 3-4 times, to outline, and outline notably, to revise those outlines, retype those outlines, create flashcards, study like you've never fucking studied before, go outside of the assigned readings, and purchase nutshells, law guides, things like that. But that's where the real fucking work is, man. Grandiose Toad wants to know if I have any good Socratic methods. So I do. And I'll be more than happy to tell them at Furrydelphia in August if anybody asks. The best one, though, that I can think of right now, and I'm not going to to tell a lot of them, but it's one I already told on the blog last week. Is I was in property, and I had not read the case. I hadn't read the case at fucking all. And the way the Socratic method works, if you're not a lawyer, if you've never been to law school, if you haven't read up on it, is your professors don't do a whole fucking lot of lecturing, especially during your first year of law school. What they do is they assign you cases to read, and you brief the cases. Then you go in, and they'll pick someone randomly. They'll cold call is what we call them. And it'll be, Mr. Toad, could you please give us the facts of Stambosky v. Ackley? And then you give the facts, and they say, now give us the holding. Now give us the decision. Why do you think they found like that? All the professor does is ask you questions. You explain yourself out loud in front of an entire room full of law students. It is a nerve-wracking fucking experience, and you are going to be wrong. There is no right answer in the Socratic method, because the purpose is for the professor to ask you questions in a way that makes you defend or change positions or ask you a hypothetical based off of it. The idea being that through this display, you and all the students watching you get your ass reamed learn the concept of law. Now, I wasn't paying attention, and I hadn't read a goddamn word of the case the night before. And I figured I was safe because I had been on call. I had been up to be called a couple days earlier, and I'd been called on. And most professors are merciful and will only call on you once and then until everybody's been called on. My professor was not merciful, and he called on me again, probably because he realized I was sitting there on a laptop playing Civilization. And he said, Mr. Barrister, explain why the turtles did not have standing to challenge the eminent domain. And I looked over and I said, well, turtles ain't people. And we moved the fuck on. It was the right answer, by the way. Turtles weren't people, so they didn't have standing to challenge the government taking the land that they were on. And because they weren't people, somebody couldn't sue on behalf of or as the next friend of the turtles. I like to think that the professor, when I said turtles ain't people, realized that that was probably the best answer he was getting out of me and decided to let someone else suffer for a little while. And the Socratic method's fucking hell. It's horrible. You feel like shit. You are convinced you're going to say something that is just idiotic and everybody will remember it for years. And when I went into law school, one of my professors stood up on the first day and said, no one is going to remember the stupid things you say. It has been a good number of years. And every time I run into my law school classmates who were in my section for that, they say, turtles ain't people. So that was a fucking lie. Dana thinks I have the same speech cadence of a Baptist preacher. I wonder why. I was raised in the Baptist church, not just the Baptist church, but the Southern Baptist Church. When I was coming up, the Southern Baptists were boycotting Disney World because Disney had gay days. Now, the fun part about Disney and the Southern Baptists is Southern Baptist churches come in two varieties. They either come in the really fucking serious variety, or they come in the variety where you say the words, but you know how fucking weird it is. And luckily, I went to the latter. And I'll never forget being kids. And the preacher stood up there, Brother Gary, stood up there and said, now remember, we're boycotting Disney because Disney supports the homosexuals. So, if y'all go to Orlando this year, remember, no matter how much them kids scream, you can't take them to Disney World. And immediately the entire fucking sanctuary broke down laughing because you knew everybody had already booked their fucking tickets to Disney World. Oh. Will I consider going to MFF? Erasmus, I will consider going to anything as long as 3 conditions are met. 1, it has to be somewhere I can get to and back in a weekend, because I don't close my office for fucking anything. 2, it has to match up with my schedule. And 3, everything that I do is bank account permitting. I am not a fan of being fucking broke. And as much as I love you guys, going to furry conventions every weekend or every 2 weekends just don't fucking pay. Now, if you wanted to make it pay, I do have one of those Ko-fi things, and there's a Patreon as well. So, always feel free to toss me a couple bucks. I'll take your money all goddamn day long. And if we get a certain amount, then yeah, sure, fuck it. I'll go to Atlanta. I got friends down there. Last time I was in Atlanta, though, I almost got arrested, so I'm not sure if I should go back. So we get you to... Oh, yeah, that's right. MFS is the one out in Chicago. You know what? That's that one's actually a possibility. The issue once again is the same as all. And I'm gonna shut the fuck up because Andrew French is in the room. Mr. French is the writer of Circles, which was very enjoyable, and everybody at my house would like to tell you guys to go fuck yourself for writing that. But yeah, MFF is it's a possibility. I say it's a possibility because it's going to require me finding a flight out of Philadelphia after I close my office, so like an 8 p.m. flight out of Philly to get into Chicago, then a hotel room for Friday and Saturday, and then a late night flight out of O'Hare back into Philly, because I don't close my fucking office for anything. So the rules apply. If it meets my schedule, and if the money comes up, yeah, sure. People want to hear how I almost got arrested in Atlanta. We don't tell that story online in recordable areas. Have I visited any states other than your one? I've visited a lot of states. Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, North and South Dakota, Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, obviously, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. I've never been to California. Let's see, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, New York, Rhode Island, Maryland. As a matter of fact, yeah, everything east of the Mississippi I visited in several states west of the Mississippi. Well, Alejandro, I'll tell you, if you get them to come up with a plane ticket, I'm there. But I just got to find the fucking plane. Dante thinks he's going to get the Atlanta story out of me in Anthrocon. Probably not. But it always depends on how much I drink. No, Slide Wolf, I have not been to Connecticut. Now that you mention it, I've driven through Connecticut, but I've never visited. Let's see. What else are you assholes talking about? What if I can make you a custom glass with your name on it? Well, I'm a whore for free stuff, so yeah, that may convince me. Yes, Ketlamos, I am a native Kentuckian. I am very southern, and my accent is actually watered down a bit from how it used to be. My accent actually used to be much thicker. Uh, a good Alaron. Alaron, I am drinking for about the fourth time tonight. A Midori with pineapple and a splash of lemonade. Ned is asking if being a Southern Baptist influenced my youthful music listening habits at all. Not really. I grew up in the age where your parents listened to oldies most of the time. My parents listened to oldies. They didn't listen to classic rock. So a lot of my music listening habits when I was a kid was oldies and country music. As a matter of fact, I didn't start listening to alternative music until I was a teenager. I mean, well into being a teenager. Yes, I am related to Colonel Sanders, and if you believe that, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. I live in the eastern desert of eastern Washington. Well, what's it deserted of? Is that really a desert, eastern Washington? Chile is asking what I think about How About Meow's Boozy Partial. I love it. I think it's great. It's come along very nicely. She's amazingly talented. And I can't wait to see it finished. Let's see. I did not buy cowboy boots in West Virginia, and I have no comment on whether or not I own a pair of cowboy boots. So, but I do. I own a pair of cowboy boots. I also used to wear a cowboy hat everywhere. I'm not a fucking cowboy. So what else can I talk about? It's only 11 o'clock. We got started a little late, and I've got, I think, about 16 more minutes left here. About 16 minutes good enough for you assholes? Scarfy, I have not read up on that. I've heard of it, but I haven't read up on it. He's asking what my opinion is on Gary Goldman's case about the Zootopia, his copyright claim. I have to admit, I haven't done any reading on it past a very small amount, so I have no clue what that case is regarding. So I don't really feel qualified to give an opinion. Well, Erasmus, I love your font. Erasmus has said that they love my accent. So, Cyberwolf wants to know whether lawyers are politically left or right. Both. And I've met far right lawyers. I've met far left lawyers. We're people. And our politics are all the same. In that they're not the same. Andrew, I have been to Massachusetts. Last time I was in Massachusetts, I was in Boston. And I ordered an iced tea. And the lady at the restaurant apparently was not familiar with people ordering iced tea, because she brought me a Long Island iced tea. I wasn't really planning to get shit-faced at 10:30 in the morning, but, shit happens. Erasmus is saying, consider that custom drinking glass done. Funnily enough, what I am drinking out of right now is the custom drinking glass that was given to me by the fine folks over at Furthermore, that was sitting on stage when I came back from my short cigarette break after the charity auction. So, if you assholes keep giving me glasses, I'm going to have to build a special shelf or something. And I'm a lawyer, not a carpenter, so it means it's going to be ass ugly. Bio wants to know why I think I manage such popularity with furries. I have no idea. I'm not even really sure I'd say I am popular with furries. I like to think it's because I'm a nice guy and really amusing and handsome. The truth may just be so simple as you all really enjoyed watching me discover certain parts of your fandom. And yes, I'm going to continue saying your fandom. Check back in with me after Anthrocon. If nobody scared me off, we'll talk then. Chile is trying to find a furry carpenter. Well, that's very interesting. Most people would say that you need to find a Jewish carpenter first. And about 3 people out there who were raised in a Baptist church laughed. How do you feel about somewhat being pulled into the furry fan? I wasn't pulled into anything. I don't know if you've noticed over the past couple months, but I don't have a very good sense of self-preservation. So I have a bad habit of diving in to the shallow end of the pool and just hoping nothing bad happens. It's fine, but I'm here out of personal choice. Zine says, you guys enjoy watching me spiral into your rabbit hole. That sounds sexual. Hi, Thistle Chaser. Oh, Erasmus, I don't know. I have heard about the drinking prowess present in Kage. So, while I will certainly try to outdrink anybody as long as somebody else is paying for the fucking booze, I'll make no promises. Alejandro, I have seen no reason not to respect you guys. People are people the world over. Everybody's a little fucked up. Everybody's a little weird. Furries are no different. You guys just kind of keep your weirdness out there for everybody to see, and I respect that. I am a little taken aback that, like, immediately after going, oh, hey, here's a lawyer who's cool with us and is showing a genuine interest in us, the reaction was, let's show him the worst fucking porn we have. I appreciate the level of dickishness that takes. And I will say that alone endeared the furry fandom to me quite a bit. Boozy versus Alkali. Who's Alkali? Is that son of a bitch with the top hat that I keep seeing on all the videos? I asked that, and then I realized I'm on a fucking delay, so I kind of need to keep talking. I can't just stay silent after I say something about that. Randy Fat Stripes. Love that fucking name. I think Boozy might be able to outdrink me. I saw the 3 bottles of Booker's. Furthermore, it was actually 5 bottles by the time I left. 2 of them are already gone, and 3 of them are sitting in my kitchen right now. Am I allowed to give my opinion on politics? Well, I am most certainly allowed to. The question is, will I? No. I won't. I said it furthermore. I'm a liberal. I'm a pretty hard liberal on that. I agreed very strongly with Senator Sanders during his presidential campaign. But to any further extent, I don't talk about my personal politics that much. I was raised that there are things you don't talk about in polite society. Money, sex, and politics. So, although I certainly can talk about my politics at fucking length, I don't feel like I would be willing to do it that publicly here. Or really in any circumstance like this, on Twitter, during a panel, anything like that, because nobody really gives a fuck what the fat lawyer thinks about politics. Now if you catch me one-on-one, I'll be more than happy to talk politics with you. I enjoy talking politics. But it's just not something I do publicly, out there publicly. Emmanuel wants to know if I'm planning on doing many more of these in the future. It seems to be going pretty well. I probably will, actually. I'm not sure whether it'd be best to do it on Patreon or in another way. Like I said, I have one of those coffee accounts. I know some people don't want to donate monthly to Patreon or wait for a Patreon stream. Trust me, if I can figure out a way to monetize this, I'll do it. Even if I can't, I may. I'm actually enjoying this. But yeah, chances are I'll do this again. And hopefully I'll get this little fucking webcam I bought working and figure out some more on this what's this called again? Face rig before then as well. To be honest, you'll notice it's only the lips moving really, and that's because I couldn't get the lighting in my den right. My den's got horrible fucking lighting. There's no wired fixtures in this room. So all the lighting is from lamps and one overhead light that you plug into the wall and hang from the ceiling. So I'd need to change it up just a bit. Oh, Dante, you bet your ass I'm going to have you researching how to monetize shit. You guys got to understand, I don't do this stuff for the money. But if I can take your fucking money by doing it, I certainly will. I have no compunctions about taking every penny you guys want to throw at me. That said, there is a Patreon for Lawyers and Liquor. There's also a Coffee for Lawyers and Liquor. So, knock yourselves out if you want to throw money at me. I'll certainly take it. And there we go. Theros the Sexy Dragon, will your significant otter come to a furry con with you? QM is thinking about coming to Furrydelphia, but QM also has a government job, so they cannot take time off like I can, and they work many weekends. As a matter of fact, most nights and most days we run into each other as one of us is heading out the door and the other one's heading in. Do I have a favorite furry? Well, Carnos, didn't you know you're my favorite furry? Slide Wolf wants to know what my favorite drink is. My favorite drink is all of them. Preferably one after another. I prefer to give you my money rather to those sexy women on Twitch. At least it will have some worth. Certainly, and then I can give it to sexy people I want to see on Twitch. Andrew's headed out for the night. He has to duck out early. I completely understand it, guys, because it's 11:20 p.m. over here on the East Coast. And I'm certain Andrew, like the rest of us, is a responsible adult who has other things he has to be doing tomorrow. Much like me. But I don't really give a fuck. So, let's see. Get Boozy Badger's deck clear. Certainly. I'll tell you what. I'll get one of those little fundraising thermometers. I'll be back on Friday and we'll just fill that fucker up. How's that sound, guys? Oh, it's like drunk Mr. Rogers. Well, I'm not drunk yet. Everybody's telling me to check out the Dragon Soul, so I'm going to write that down in my notebook real quick of shit I need to see. Wait until I meet Telephone. I have seen videos of Telephone, and from what I understand, all Telephone does is squeak. So, I think I can handle that. The secret is not to sleep. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I'd say 74 fucking people are watching this, so I'd say the proof of concept's going through pretty well. No, Ned, I am not buzzed. Midori is not a hard liquor. It is a liqueur. You know it's fancy because it's a liqueur, not a liqueur. Much like Southern Comfort is a liqueur. Now, Erasmus believes that I should be getting drunk soon, but unfortunately, I will not be getting drunk tonight. I do have to do lawyer shit tomorrow. So, you guys got me for a little bit longer, and then I'm heading the fuck out. Alejandro has told me to be sure to give my three-legged dog a hug. And to be honest, if I didn't actually have a three-legged dog, that would sound very dirty. Bio wants to know why QM hides their gender. Because it doesn't fucking matter. At the end of the day, that's really it. It has nothing to do with anything at all. As a matter of fact, several of you out there actually know QM's gender. A few people have actually talked to QM. But it doesn't matter. It has no bearing on really anything. Does it make a difference? Weigel is heading in to catch some sleep before work tomorrow. Go right ahead. Oh, and everybody thinks I sound like Yondo from Guardians. You know what? I'll take that. I'll take that. I was gonna pull off the whistle, but I don't think I can pull the whistle off right now. Oh, hey. How did we find the three-legged dog? The three-legged dog was discovered because we had gone to a pet shop and there was a rescue doing adoptions that day, and there's this big-ass three-legged dog. A little under a year old in a cage there. Big black dog. And QM walked over and fell in love with this dog. And after watching QM with the dog for a bit, they went off to get cat food. And I realized that there was no way in hell that I was leaving that store without the fucking dog. Whether I wanted to or not. And that's how we ended up with the three-legged dog. He may be your father, but he ain't your daddy. Emmanuel, yes, QM has a government job. Nope, Dante, not tonight. No lurking. QM is working this evening. RJQM is definitely not Dante. Oh no, Bayo, it's completely okay. It's a regular question. You asked a genuine question, which is why are we doing that? Not anything intrusive. I appreciate the question. I appreciate the chance to answer it. Nothing wrong with asking. As far as I know, I haven't fucked Toad, but Alejandro, I would not swap jobs with QM. First, I make more money. Second, I don't want to deal with the shit QM deals with. Holy shit, I've been doing this for an hour now. I am very quickly running out of things to talk about tonight, mainly because I got started late and we had the stream problems right off the bat. Secondly, because it's almost 11:30 and my day starts at 5. And if I don't get my 6 hours of beauty sleep, I'm a real asshole. What was what sound? You may have been talking about the dogs, Ned. Our beagle and the three-legged dog are sleeping in the room right next to my den, and our beagle whines in her sleep on a pretty regular basis. RJ's like 18, Dante. And he has a bunch of grinder hookups. So, all right, guys, I am calling it a night. It's 11:29. I need to go to bed. Hey, keep your eyes on Twitter. I'm probably going to do this again. I like the way it turned out. I'll try to think of some type of a format to stick on it. I did enjoy talking to you. It was a lot of fun. You guys are great. Let's see. Oh, if you have questions for me, I will be recording an episode of For What It's Worth on Friday night. And if you send them some questions, I know they're going to ask me some while they have me on with them. So if you guys want to send them some questions, that'd be great. Otherwise, it's just going to be me talking to them for about a half hour. Because I am that type of asshole, I'm going to say there is a link to the Patreon on the website. There is a link to the coffee account on the website. If you want to give me your money, I'll certainly fucking take it. Otherwise, this Friday is Freaky Friday on the website, which is www.lawyersandliquor.com, because some of you guys who follow on Twitter have never been there. This Friday, I'm going to be talking about the Greenbrier Ghost, which is a case from 1897 in West Virginia, where the ghost of a murder victim actually was allowed through her mother to present evidence in court and fingered the murderer, and a person was actually convicted on testimony from a ghost. So I'll be talking about that on the blog this Friday. We're getting the podcast together. In addition to the Lawyers and Liquor podcast, which I'll be starting in the next few weeks, I'm also working on a podcast with a group of 5 other attorneys. And I'll get some information out to you on that. Once again, I'll be recording with For What It's Worth, the podcast, this Friday. And I think they're still looking for questions for me, so you can shoot those over to the email. Links to the coffee account and the Patreon account on the website. And you guys have been just flat out fucking great, as always. And I'll let you know when I'm going to do this again. I'd like to be able to do this on a pretty regular basis with you guys. So, you all have a wonderful night. Thanks for coming in, and I'll talk to you later.